Hello! Today I'm playing my version of We Three Kings of Orient Are from my book Light So Brilliant, and this is the version that I always wanted to find somewhere and didn't, so I went ahead and arranged it. So I'll play it first and then go through some tips. There you go. So I think every time I play this, I roll my chords differently. So there are a few that are actually notated as rolled because I felt like those were important, but the rest you could keep straight or roll however you like. And I just wanted to point out at the middle of the very first page is the first time when we get to the chorus, and it's actually different from the traditional melody. Usually it goes and into a G major, but I've kept it in E minor because I always felt like the G major suddenly made it so boring. So this is the written version. So no one ever said anything bad about it, so I like it. There are a few flat octaves and tenths in the left hand right at that same section. And when you're playing those, make sure that your 2 and 3 are just all completely relaxed against the strings. Sometimes when people are doing flat hands, they're kind of doing a flat hand, but they're really trying to keep everything away from the strings. And it shouldn't feel like that. It should just be everything is completely relaxed against the strings. And you can muffle everything that was ringing before, and that's why you do it. This next section at the end of the fourth line left-hand thumb doesn't pop out, because it's not important, it's just rhythm, just kind of keeping things going. There's this other pattern that's tricky at the bottom of the first page. So practice that by itself. Two things to remember: make sure you keep it soft, because it will be very ugly and difficult if you play it too loud. So keep it soft, and then make sure you have a lot of space between your thumb and your second finger when you're playing this. If you're trying to play them and your fingers are right next to each other, they have nowhere to go. You can't even play the note without running into the next string. So make sure you've got a hand position that looks more like that. The right hand takes over that pattern for this page turn. Occasionally I'll actually copy the odd page and tape it into my book, so I can always have 3 pages set out at the beginning, because I don't enjoy page turns that might go wrong in the middle of a performance, so you're welcome to do that. I want to draw your attention to the middle of the second page now, where we have this same pattern. Those thumbs you could maybe bring out a little bit more, because they're hinting at the traditional harmonization of the chorus of this G major. So you could bring that out. Most people won't get it, but it's a subtlety that could be fun for you as a performer. And then I want to look at this left-hand pattern at the bottom of the second page and top of the third page. This is similar in that you need to keep it soft, otherwise it will be really difficult and it will completely overpower your melody. Another thing is that you want your melody to be as beautiful as possible, because it is the most interesting thing happening here. Left hand is just providing that E drone, and it is providing rhythm and kind of excitement as you go on. So make sure you keep your tempo solid, and that you want your left hand to just stay as relaxed as you possibly can. Make sure that your pinky is going with your fourth finger everywhere it goes, because if your pinky is sticking straight out, it's not getting a chance to relax during this whole section, and it'll get really tense. Similarly, if your pinky is tucked down here and you're trying to reach out with that fourth finger, that's not a very fluid motion either, so I recommend just letting your pinky go where your fourth finger goes. Also, make sure that your fingers are pointing down. You might be able to get the speed and the sound with your fingers pointing up, but that's kind of cheating, and the whole bottom half of your hand doesn't get a chance to relax at all if you can't close from this position, and so it can build up a lot of tension, and you can start having pain in there. And if your hand is tense, you keep the same tempo. All sorts of reasons to not do that. So try to take the time, learn it correctly with your hands, your fingers pointing down and closing as much as possible. And then I just wanted to touch briefly on the very last section, the mysteriously section, where we're not playing the entire melody, we're just playing a fragment. And again, make your left hand soft and your right hand as beautiful as it can, and think about long phrases here. So your left hand dynamics there can make notes seem like they're carrying longer than they actually are. So pay attention to subtle left hand dynamics. And then for the fade, you can do that as many times as you like. And for me, it depends on how loud I was and how fast I was playing the piece, how long it takes me to feel like, oh, now this is the time to stop. So experiment with that and don't necessarily feel like you have to do it the same way every time. So those are the high points, or the tricky spots in this arrangement, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Then thank you for watching.